everyone, it's Mike from BGN. Before the show starts, I wanted to quickly tell you about a very special new sponsor that we have at the network, Golden Goal Press. Now, I've intentionally been very selective about who we partner with as a network because I never want to advertise for someone that we don't think would benefit you personally. That's why Roughneck Scarves is and continues to be a great sponsor, as they've been able to outfit tons of supporters groups and organizations with amazing scarves. Golden Goal Press is unique because after researching tons of companies, we decided that the best way to serve your needs directly is to create a new company that can work directly with you. Golden Goal Press helps you create custom shirts, hats, mugs, flags. Literally, the list of items can go on, and we do it with a unique personal touch that provides you with the best products at a fraction of the cost of other print shops online. So, the next time you're looking for one custom item or hundreds, please go check out goldengoalpress.com. As always, we appreciate your support. And now, on with the show.
And welcome, everybody, to the Lunacy Podcast, brought to you by Roughneck Scarves and Golden Goal Press. Yes, we do have some new sponsors in the mix. My name is Tony. I'm here with David. And no Dave Stevens today.
Right.
Because he's on assignment.
Right, he's off scouting.
He's out scouting. Actually, we kind of are, I think we're going to fire him.
We might.
I made that announcement. I told him in an email, I said, if anyone wants to show up today to do any tryouts for his position, they could do that.
Well, you know, we might have someone.
Exactly right. Again, my name is Tony Pervenanzi. This is David Sterling. We are here today at, was it Pryes?
Yeah.
Pryes Brewing in Minneapolis, right off of West River Road, kind of by the old Broadway, down the street from the old Broadway. Pizza off of Broadway. Right by... I'm going to say the name of it. I'm not going to say what it is, but they're BJ's.
Right,
yes,
BJ's.
Johnny Drewski will have stories about that place because we went there once or twice back when we lived in Northeast.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, there's some good stories about that. We are drinking... David, what do you have? What did you get?
I have the dry stout.
Dry stout.
I thought with the cool, rainy, slightly almost fall, spring...
Crappy day.
I figured a dry stout was a nice way to start everything off.
Yeah, I went with the Sabro Double Haze, which is a hazy IPA with tropical fruit. Delicious stuff, as usual. I don't think I've had a bad beer in any brew I've ever been to.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, there's been some beers that I haven't been particularly in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's a taste thing, though.
Yeah. But nothing's been bad, and this stout's right there with other dry stouts I've had. It's fantastic. It's nitro. It's really good.
I do want to say that you can find us, of course, on Spotify. You can find us on Spreaker. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn. We are part of the BGN network. That's bgn.fm. We're also part of the Minnesota Podcast Network. That is podcastminn.com. We do have some special guests here with us from the Thunderwall. They are right now playing, what did you call it?
It's called Featherball.
Featherball.
Feather bowling, sorry.
Feather bowling. It's a mix between bocce and curling.
And so you might hear some clanking
and stuff.
And
they're going to be with us. They'll be with us in the second half of the episode to talk about the Thunderwall and the supporters group and how that's going. There have been 2 home games at Allianz Field now, so I think everything's kind of getting everything kind of worked out a little bit.
It's been sounding pretty good.
Yes. So before we get into anything, I do want to say it's Saturday. It's 10 a.m.
Yeah, this is the earliest podcast we've had. No, second earliest.
Second earliest, yeah.
The other one, the earliest wasn't quite the same.
Yeah, the earliest was, no. This place opens at 10 o'clock. They do have food here. They have like a pizza, like how would I put it? The pizza's kind of like gourmet pizza stuff.
It's kind of an Italian eatery.
Yeah. They've got some, I looked at the menu, I was like, that looks interesting. Another thing I wanted to say is I don't think we've ever done this on this podcast before. I want to thank not only our listeners for listening, but I want to thank the people who, you don't hear these people on the podcast, but they make this podcast possible. David, your wife, lets you do this, makes it possible for you to do this.
Right.
My wife makes it possible for me to do this. And I have to give a shout out to my in-laws and my sister-in-law for watching the girls when my wife is working on these weekends, and my parents for watching the girls when my wife's working on these weekends. If it wasn't for all these people in our lives, we wouldn't be able to do this.
Definitely.
So I want to say thank you to them, and they allow us to do this crazy thing we call a podcast every 2 weeks.
Right.
And they're, for the most part, cool with it. I think so. Most part, yeah. And the fact that we're going on 2 trips this year.
Right.
And they were fine with that, too. So
yeah.
We are going to talk about, at the end of this podcast, we're going to announce where we're going to be in 2 weeks.
Yes.
2 weeks from today, we will be having a podcast in another city.
Exactly.
And we're going to announce where we're going for that. We're going to announce the details, where we're going to be, what it's for, who's going to be with us. You know, we got some friends coming along. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
And and we've got all the travel plans set, so we're good to go. Let's get into the game from, was it Saturday night?
It's a blur.
It's a blur.
It was Friday night.
Friday night. It was Toronto FC.
Yes, in Toronto.
In Toronto.
It was rainy.
Rainy, cool day.
Yep.
Went into that game thinking, we should be able to get a point out of this game.
Considering how we had been playing on the road this season.
Yeah.
Now that this is last year, it would have been completely different.
Yeah. And I think in the beginning of the game, we had, I think we were up 1-0, weren't we?
Yeah. Darwin had the first goal of the game in 17th minute.
And that goal was, if I remember correctly, that was the one where he headed it over the goalie.
Yes.
And then kind of soft-touched it into the goal.
Yes, exactly.
It was a typical Darwin Quintero type
and
play.
it was a typical Darwin Quintero versus Toronto goal. Because, the last game we played them, there was a hat trick of chip shots.
That was chip shots, yeah.
So, it was prototypical Darwin Quintero.
Was it the same goalie?
No, it wasn't.
Different guy.
Right? I think it was different.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
But same result.
Yeah.
He totally tricked the goalie. Who got the pass into Darwin? Was that...
That was Gregus.
Gregus, yeah. Gregus put the pass into Darwin. When that came up, I remember I said, oh, God, the goalie's coming out. And then I thought to myself, that's a bad idea against DQ. Don't come out of the goal against DQ.
Yeah, and it's almost... I think, obviously I'm not a goalie, but to me, I almost feel like that's a situation where you kind of want to let it play out a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was getting close to being in a position where he couldn't use his hands even.
That's right.
So, it was just one of those things that it was probably a mistake on his part, but it was still, it still took a ton of skill from Darwin to capitalize on that mistake. And
they also had a defender off to the side.
Exactly.
So at that point, you kind of go, well, let the defender try to make a move, and if push comes to shove, foul Darwin.
Right.
Then it's a free kick.
Right.
And again, Darwin's good at free kicks, but at least there's another opportunity for you to stop a goal.
Right.
And
honestly, that's what I would. Well, it was last defender too, so
yeah.
I guess a foul could have resulted in a red card.
Mm-hmm. It could have.
So
definitely.
that was an interesting situation. Fantastic for Darwin to be able to do what he did. We got up on the board.
We're up 1-0 on the board. Then we get a breakaway score from, I'm not going to be able to say his name right.
Pozuelo. Alejandro. And that goal was spectacular.
Yeah, it was. It was a great goal.
Yeah, I don't, like you said, it was a breakaway. And he took that right down.
He did.
And he rifled a shot, And I saw somebody on Twitter actually complain that Minone could have done better. I'm like, no one could have done better on that.
No, you're not going to be able to.
It was perfect.
It was a perfect.
Phenomenal.
It was a curling type of shot.
Yeah.
It was perfectly placed.
Yeah, and it's the definition of a golazo. That was a great shot. And of course, 2 minutes later, wasn't it?
2 minutes later, he scores again.
Yeah.
Another top shelf type of deal.
Exactly. So, of course.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
And so, but with those 2 goals right there, I was saying to myself, and we didn't have, Opara was out because he had the concussion protocol going on. And I'm going to myself, would he have helped out on those 2 goals? Would he have done anything?
Well,
could he have done anything? Could things have been a little different? The
entire game, we lacked pressure in the back line.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't know about the first goal. First goal is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Though he would have been a lot faster than Boxall.
Yep.
So if I think he could have maybe gotten into a better position. I think I complained on our in instant message, whatever the heck you call
Yeah.
conversation back and forth, I had said that I think Boxall could have taken away the inside.
Yeah.
And it forced Pozuelo to take the shot with his left foot.
Yep.
And I think Ike would have probably done something like that, where Boxall didn't. So there's a chance that he could have done something different, been a bigger impact. The second goal for sure. I mean, that was just messy defending. It was poor pressure.
Well, I want to say about the Aparo thing, not only the fact that I think that at least that second goal he could have done something with it, but also the communication between the back line. We kind of saw that Ike kind of glues them all together.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that when we start talking about the Galaxy game on Wednesday.
Definitely.
Was that with Ike back in there, the back line was more glued together and talked. Communication was better, and there was more pressure, and there was a lot more energy in the back line. Without Ike in there, it was flat. They didn't do the things that we need them to do.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of cohesion, and I think some of that might be due to the fact that Brent was in there basically for the first time, and it wasn't really, him and Boxall have played plenty together, but it's still a new situation. There's definitely, like you said, we'll talk about it more with the Galaxy.
So we went in the half is it 2-1 at the half?
Yeah, it was 2-1 at the half. We ended up scoring in the 57th minute.
Yep. So we came out of the half. Angelo scored.
Yeah, a nice header off the top.
Feed from Metnair.
Yep.
And so that was great.
Yep, off the crossbar, in for goal.
So it was 2-2 at that point. And then, what was it?
Jordan Hamilton came on.
Yep.
And this is kind of a new thing for him because people thought that he would be a starter, and then he got relegated to the bench, and now he's trying to embrace his super sub role, and he did a fantastic job.
Yeah. So I don't have when they started scoring goals again, I was kind of like, well, this is BS.
Well, so we did have a PK.
We had a PK, which was a foul.
Angelo got fouled in the box,
yeah.
and DQ converted, of course.
Yep.
So we, of course, took the 3-2 lead.
Yep.
But so then Jordan Hamilton came in, scored. I think he came in the 76th, 75th minute, scored in the 77th. We had complete and utter defensive breakdown from about the 70th minute on.
Yeah,
it was basically that goal, the PK.
Yeah,
shut down our defense. I don't know,
Yeah, that's when I stopped making notes because I was getting pissed off.
Yeah, and so then of course Hamilton ended up scoring again 2 minutes later. So it's just one of those things where it was reminiscent of last year. Where we gave up a lot of late goals last season and in 2017, and it was really just deja vu.
It was,
and of course things melted down even more.
Yeah, so we get to the end, towards the end of the game, and you got Gregus with the red card,
which I don't agree with.
No,
I think it was a yellow.
Yeah,
but the way the whole play worked out, it just. And now I can't even remember who he fouled anymore.
I don't know. He was going after the ball, but it was a pretty hard.
Yeah, it just ended up tipping over, and it looked way harsher.
It worked.
Yeah.
And then after that, we got Calvo with his red card.
Yes.
Was he holding? He stepped on the guy. I don't even know what he did.
Well, I think it was bitching,
complaining.
Yeah. And so, we should point out that Calvo had a red card earlier in the season.
Yes, he did. Yep.
For basically the same thing.
Yes, yeah.
Because it was a second yellow for throwing the ball out of the field of play. So we can talk about him a little bit more in a little bit too.
We lose the game 4-3.
We end up losing 4-3.
And so our hopes of getting a point are thrown out the window.
Yep, and and what's even better is our average for goals is high enough to where we're potentially allowing as many goals as we did last
year, which is terrible.
And not many playoff teams allow more than 60 goals.
No. So, and we're on pace to actually, I think we were on pace after that game to break last year's goal thing. So,
but which, you're going to have games like that.
Of course.
It happens.